Valley to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Let's go to work. To the left.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up War Chant presented by Zaxby's. I'm Aslan Hajavandi alongside Corey Clark. We both work for WarChant.com. Check out his work on WarChant.com. If you're not a member, it's okay. We got the hookup. 30-day free trial. Use the promo code WarChant30. Check it out. Try it. You'll like it. The ultimate Seminole sports source. Corey, been thinking about broadening the horizons. Maybe, I don't know. I think you can get the kick and chicken sandwich without the tongue torch on it because as I look at it, it just looks so delicious. It's the famous chicken with a kick. See what they did there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, makes sense.
Chicken fingers, ranch sauce, and tongue torch on Texas toast. Of course, with the crinkle fries, 22-ounce soda. I wonder. I'm sure they can probably, since for you and I, we could probably. Hey, we don't want tongue. Can you make it like wimpy?
I don't know. I'd like it. I'd like to see though.
Maybe nuclear.
The how they combine, how the ranch and the torch, how they interact in my mouth.
It looks beautiful. It just looks the way like buffalo wings do when you dip them into blue cheese.
Which is what I do. That's my play.
Yeah,
that's my play.
It looks beautiful. Check it out. It's Zaxby's. It's indescribably good. Crazy thing is they also have insane and nuclear. Like if I gave you three things and it was like tongue torch, nuclear, and insane, which is the one you would not want to?
Nuclear. Doesn't that? I mean that. I don't. Can it get hotter than nuclear? Like fishing?
I watched Chernobyl.
Yeah,
it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
I would think like
is it
insane.
fission or fusion? Fission, right? Nuclear fission. Fission. Yeah. That would be what I would name my fission.
Would you hire? Who would be the first person you would approach on the Florida State roster to be your spokesman for the tongue torch sauce if you're Zaxby's? Because now, in 2023 in California, you can start paying athletes to be spokespeople. You can pay them for their likeness, things like that. So, like maybe Tamori and Terry, if that was going on right now. If
they can do it right now.
My name's Tamori and Terry. They call me the Human Torch. Check out my boys at Zaxby's with the tongue torch sauce.
Okay, that's
interesting.
I mean, I don't know. We need to be doing impressions. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I think I was going to say DeKalen Brooks and see if his dad would stop by.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, because I think Derek wants good things to happen to DeKalen. It would be cool if he got his own sponsorship. But the caveat is, hey, your Hall of Fame dad has to be in the background eating too.
What is he? Okay.
You don't have to mention his name. Just say, hey, Dad, I got us some wings. He's got enough money. But we need to see him on camera.
Maybe DeKalen's eating the nibblers, and then Dad's eating the Big Zack snack.
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah. Man, we don't even really know. We don't say Derek Brooks underneath. He's just there. Yeah. He's just there at the table. They're having a good time, but all the money goes to DeKalen.
He's also been there at the last two home games. He's
on the sidelines.
He's Willie's like consigliere. He's right there.
No, he's actually talking to kids when they come off the field. He's really invested, and obviously with good reason because his kid plays on the team. But that's kind of cool to see. He wasn't here when DeKalen wasn't here, but still, you're gonna have another 2 years, you would think, unless my man gets in the portal because he's not playing, and that would be odd. That would be an odd decision. But he's gonna have a couple more years of Derek Brooks on the sideline coaching these kids up. Not bad, right? Plus, he's
2 more years with DeKalen.
I think he's just a redshirt sophomore, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. So what do you think about that? I mean, we're going to try to get into some Florida State talk here because that's what we do on this show. It's Wake Up War Chant. But, I mean, so if people don't know, I guess the whole background on it, California is the governor, Gavin Newsom, went ahead and signed it into law, enacted it, but it won't go into effect until 2023. Student athletes can now profit off their own likeness. So
their image, I assume their number too.
I don't know how that would work with apparel. Like if Nike's going to use a number 7, his DJ, how he goes about getting that money. But I mean that's part of.
I think there's very few instances where that's obvious. Obviously, in 2013 with a 5 jersey, we know who that's for. We know where that's going. This year probably with the 3, and then with a 4 when Giorgio Newberry was here. So. You know the obvious one, so I assume they have to set up an arrangement for that as well. But yeah, it's basically going to be like a local Nissan dealership can hire the starting running back, pay him whatever they deem
market value,
and I think the kid has to have an agent, so that has to be negotiated too. But then, I would think the college kids are going to be showing up on billboards, and they're getting money for that. They're showing up on commercials. There should be some awesome commercials.
Absolutely,
there really should be. I can't wait to see what that looks like. But for going back to Zaxby's, maybe like the whole offensive line. And they're just chowing down on the wings. I think that's a good play. Or the chicken fingers. I think that's a good play, too.
It's a good way to even it out because that's somebody on the message board, Tribal Council, WarChant.com, was talking about, obviously the unintended consequences of this. What happens when your quarterback and star receiver are getting all these endorsements and then, your left guard's not getting anything. Your weak side linebacker's getting nothing. What kind of sort of resentment will that cause? Because as of now, I guess, it's believed to sort of be, it's a level playing field, if you will, in the locker room right now. Everybody's on same scholarship.
Right.
Now, do they get maybe ancillary benefits on the side to, get to the campuses and the universities they're at right now? That's beside the point. But again, so this would go into play in 2023. As of now, the NCAA's threat sort of is that they would not allow these California institutions to compete in the NCAA because there are national rules. Even though it's a state law, it's not a federal law. So
how awesome would that be? Then Stanford's reign as the athletic cup, what are they called? Directors Cup champions is over. Sorry, Stanford.
Beat it.
You're not going to compete in anything in the postseason.
That was one of the interesting things I saw was the Pac-12 released a statement because obviously their member institutions are mainly in the state of California, and like the buzzwords in this, it's going to be Olympic sports, and it talked about this also going to adversely affect female athletes. So like they're already drumming up.
How?
Well, because they're probably not going to be seen as maybe as marketable. I don't know.
But they're still getting the scholarship. Like their lives don't get any worse if a starting quarterback makes $6,000 on a commercial. Right? That money's not going – it's not like that money would have gone to them. It's not coming out of the boosters' budget. Yeah. So I really don't understand that argument at all.
It also depends your
football's
university.
Different. In a few basketball schools are different. They just are. It's crazy. It's just crazy that Krzyzewski makes $12 million a year and Zion, quote-unquote, made $0 last year. Right. With all the money he made for that school, he did not get anything for it. He could have made – By January, he was one of the biggest stars in the country when he came to Tallahassee. Now he only played a half, but he's one name. He's known as one name.
Yeah, like a Brazilian soccer player.
He could have been paid $15-20 million last year, just in that stuff.
That sucks to me, though. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying
to
be a hater.
Then he can
like,
just go pro,
man.
and that's probably something that'll be happening soon anyway. But he's a very, very rare exception. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't really care that the left guard feels slighted. They do in an NFL locker room too. Some of these guys are making $35 million or $26 million on an NBA. James Harden made $48 million one year. I mean, there's going to be some sliding. That's how life is. You're not James Harden. No. Sorry, man. Sorry,
Play better.
Jose Matias. You're a really good college lineman. Josue, you're a good college lineman. You're not Jameis. You're not. So he's going to get more money than you. That's just how it works. You could have been a quarterback. You could have tried to go win a Heisman.
But you kept eating food.
You kept eating food. You're always hungry, Josue. Always hungry, man. Come on. Go run some steps. Is he still in the league?
I don't think so.
I think he had a brief
cup of coffee.
stint.
Yeah, a cup of coffee.
I think Cam Irving, he's still starting for the Chiefs, right?
He's doing great.
And Rodney Hudson's still in there?
Rodney Hudson is the man. Just quietly just thriving in the league. Also, I was noticing this, too. I was looking at the rosters when they were playing the Sunday night game the other night. How about our guy Patrick Robinson?
Who's he play for?
He's still hanging on. He's on the Saints roster.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did he play?
10 seasons. I don't think he did, but I'm like, is he still? Because I know he went back there. But yeah, he's there. He's still on the roster. I don't think he played.
P-Rob.
I mean, that's him. Like Anton Smith have that sort of crazy. Like they were here.
Yeah,
they were here, but don't forget about them. They're here. But he's been in 4 games this season. It says he's been credited for 4 games. He hasn't started any of them. Hasn't racked any stats, but he's there. Still there collecting a check.
Big Baby could do like a Babies R Us, like one of the
absolutely
just holding a baby. All your baby shopping needs. I'm Big Baby. There's endless possibilities.
Honestly, being honest here, being serious, I don't know if there's any sort of better bang for buck for like a pitch person than it is in a college town like this to get a football player. Like in Norman.
Oh, absolutely.
Norman,
Athens, Tuscaloosa, Gainesville.
Yeah, like Jake Fromm. Like golly, Jake Fromm's pitching something for you in Athens on the heels of like making.
It's got to be State Farm, right?
Yeah.
Jake Fromm State Farm.
Your local State. Yeah, the local State Farm agent was like, baby, we got to take out another mortgage on the house if we get Jake Fromm to pitch.
Jake Fromm State Farm.
Yeah, we're killing it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the end of everything. It is kind of. I think it's interesting. I don't know. Part of me, the anarchist in me, just wants to see it happen.
It's going to be if it ever materializes. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in actual practice, not in theory, but in practice. Because there will be unintended consequences. There always are. This red shirt rule, nobody for some reason foresaw that, okay, kids are just going to shut it down in September and leave in the middle of the season. No coaches really thought about that. And so there will be unintended consequences of something like this. But, yeah, man, I'm all for if a guy is really, really popular in a place like this, some of these guys won't ever have earning power like this again. Like, there's a Rashad Green. Like, nobody's playing a violin for Rashad Green. He made $2 million in the NFL. But imagine him in 2014. He was a star wide receiver. He never really made it in the NFL. He was a star wide receiver, and he could have been on 6 or 7 different commercials and made as just strike when it's hot, man. Don't wait until after the fact because other kids on campus can do it. Any other kid on campus that's not a student athlete is just a student can go make as much money as they want doing anything they want. But football players, for some reason, even really popular ones that are really good.
Well, student athletes.
Student athletes, sure. They can't. So, yeah, fair enough. We'll see how it goes. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue anyway. I don't think that you might have 4 or 5 guys on a team.
I'm going to save this, play it in 5 years. I don't think it's going to be that big deal. It's going to be like 20.
It's going to be like the Wild West. Yeah. The quarterbacks are making $900,000 per commercial.
It's like UCF's got Disney money, so they're pulling all the big recruits in Florida now. It's like no one wants to come to Florida State.
That's right. Arkansas is going to have that Walmart money.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a bunch of Walmart commercials. Their whole team's going to be get $50,000 a commercial.
Watch out. Also, I didn't want to say that women are not marketable. I hope no one interpreted it that way. Like Jessie Warren could have made pretty good money in her run.
Absolutely, and that's definitely another thing. Think about her. What are her options now? She plays in not a slow pitch. She plays in a professional softball league that makes no money, so she makes no money. She had a finite amount of time in that window to make some real money because of her name and how popular she was. It wouldn't have been much, I can't imagine, but it would have been something, and it would have been more than I think she's making a year playing in that league. Could
have bought a car. She could have put a down payment on a house. When she
graduated. and Lonnie, and I love Lonnie. We friend of the program.
Indeed,
she got a bonus for that national championship. Coaches get the bonuses. Coaches get the money. The player that was one of the best athletes this school's ever had, theoretically made $0 off that national championship run. Seems a little tilted in the adults' favor, not the players' favor.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
Well, they're all adults.
I don't know how many big businesses locally will start throwing money at people, but I do think of things of like fraternities. Like if they're going to throw a party, just like, hey guys, can we pull $3,000 out of the general fund and give it to the starting quarterback to have him like be?
Oh, and he has to be here for an hour. Yeah, he has to be for an hour. And
I think like those sort of things will. And if you can, and you see like,
and that might happen anyway, for all we know. But at least now it's on the up and up.
Right. We're all about transparency, sunshine.
That's right. The sunshine, the open record laws here.
Yes. All right, let's talk a little bit about football. On Monday, we had the distinct privilege and pleasure of going out to practice at 8 in the morning to speak to the football team coming off back-to-back conference victories, first time since 2016 that has happened here at this distinguished and accomplished university and its football team. Spoke to several players as well as the head football coach. Good feelings, energy, effort. The mindset remains the same, I think Willie said, but winning is living. Mm-hmm. So they've been living the past few weeks. Things are feeling good.
We didn't mention Marvin. Obviously, he'd be the number one guy on this team, right? For endorsements,
like a demo company or something. He's like, I'll wreck you.
Yeah, and he's throwing bricks or running into bricks or something, or obviously chicken. Anything with chicken, Zaxby's would be a good call there.
Maybe we're gonna have him chasing chickens, and he'd be like, "Man, this is too hard. I'd rather just eat them."
Man,
and
I
he
feel
flashes
like
the thumbs
he flashes a
up.
thumb up and a wink.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, man, this might be our future. We got to hold on for 3 years.
Let's see what we got to do to be an agent in this. I think we'd have great pitch ideas.
Absolutely.
Be good ancillary.
Look, you don't talk to Cam Akers until you come to us first.
Exactly.
And we don't let him do whatever you want. We got to sign off on it. Like moving companies, too, when they're going to the draft. Or even when they transfer. Like Bailey Hockman could have been a part of 2 men in a truck.
Yeah, Alex Hornibrook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I guess maybe they wanted more of the guys that are coming in instead of the dudes that are leaving. But, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Endless. I guess that's the theme on Tuesday when we talked to the players and the coaches was just the energy level, which is true. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. I thought the most interesting stuff, obviously, was the Leavitt talk. The first time we've really asked, I think, a lot of players about Leavitt in his impact. And I wrote about it. Some people in the Tribal Council weren't happy that we wrote about it, as if the NCAA is not going to be the NCAA is going to come fishing. I don't know if they've renewed their subscription or not, but they're going to come fishing to War Chant and see that Jim Leavitt is actually maybe a little bit more than a quality control analyst. Then again, it's not like Florida State's hiding it. You know, he's standing on the sideline in a headset.
With a microphone on it, but it's flipped up.
Sure.
It's a little risky, but whatever.
And you have Willie talking about, to all of us, there's, how many cameras are you guesstimating is on Willie when he talks to us? 12?
Yeah, at least a dozen.
Yeah. All 12 cameras saying, yeah, he's running from drill to drill, coaching. You know, the players are saying, yeah, he's, you know.
Did he say that, though?
He didn't say coaching.
Yeah,
he said he's running from drill to drill.
Right.
Well, what's he doing? Running from drill to drill just to look? Come on, man. They're not really downplaying his significance, I guess you should say. We could say. So yeah, I mean this is we don't the rules are a little fuzzy, I think.
Take it easy with the snitching about his actively coaching at practice and wearing a headset during games.
Yeah,
Chill
so
out,
it's
people.
like he's on this. They're not hiding it, and if they were hiding it, I don't know that it's our job to hide it for them. You know, maybe War Chant wouldn't be the one that exposes a huge scandal at Florida State, but everybody else sees it too. So it'd be weird to just not talk about it, just not even bring it up at all, like it's just not happening, because it is happening, and people are giving a lot of credit to him for this turnaround. I don't know how much is him, but some of it is him. I really genuinely believe that. I think some of it is him. Maybe not schematically, but just personality-wise, and maybe a fresh eyes to come in and say, why are you playing him here? Yeah. Or does this kid just not get it? And if he doesn't get it, you need to make him get it or get him out of the game. There's stuff like that you can a guy coming in 2 weeks in, especially after those 2 weeks, can really be a voice of reason and have a clear perspective on what's going wrong, right? So I think that's maybe been his impact. Than
I mean, how many guys have changed position though? I just really think his whole thing has been like alignment and assignment, just letting the front seven know what the hell to do, like how to work in concert. Because his primary background is linebacker play, and we've been seeing just how much better position they've been. And I just think for whatever Harlan.
Yeah, but it's not like he was scheming like, hey, quit choosing this. They're just getting coached better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It wasn't like he just changed what they were doing completely.
No,
he just made them better. He's coaching them better. They're all getting coached better.
I did find it interesting that Josh Brown said something about, you know, like he doesn't know what our scheme is, but he's doing his best to, you know, help out the staff or whatever. I'm just like, what do you mean doesn't know what the scheme is? Like, this is his scheme, I feel like. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe that goes counter to what you were saying, but.
You know, maybe he's just saying what he needs to say.
Maybe he ain't snitching. He ain't a
snitch. Neither is Levante Taylor. He's like, well, he's kind of in the background. And which he is with the secondary, I'm sure. He's kind of in the background. He doesn't talk with them that much. But, yeah, I mean, he's a part of this program. He was on that video after the Louisville game. He tweeted out whatever he tweeted out.
Oh, the dancing thing or
whatever.
The
dancing thing.
He didn't tweet it out. Somebody.
No, but I was saying the next week, again, after NC State, he tweeted out something about great win, great crowd. That was awesome. And I retweeted it, and it got like 4,000 retweets within 2 hours. Like, fans understand what he's doing in this program. None of us really truly understand the impact, but they're excited that he's here. He is a part of this thing. He is not just a quality control assistant. He's more than that.
It's a huge hire. The best bang for buck.
$80,000, yeah.
Although, golly, I feel like Sark was only getting 40. Or like Butch Jones, or like I don't think Alabama even pays there. So Florida State.
Is Butch Jones still at Alabama?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just remember him when I was in Alabama. I think at that point he had left Tennessee, and actually no, he didn't. But anyway, the photo that surfaced of him last year, I think it was in the locker room, was the whole Alabama victory cigar when you beat.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's like, hey man, you
beat Tennessee, right?
The kids that you recruited,
yeah, that you let down because you can't coach. You're going to smoke a victory cigar as a quality control assistant.
Yeah.
As if you didn't. Alabama would have won that game if you'd have been on the moon. Right. You had no impact on that game at all. Yeah, I hate that. That gets me kind of back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Coaches do that stuff all the time.
Right.
They recruit kids to a school, they get fired, then they go recruit against that school. Or they just leave for a better job and recruit against that school. They recruit against those kids. They leave those kids. But these players for more money. But these players can't go earn a few bucks on their likeness.
Tell you what. Hey,
Brock Preston. Well, Brock Preston in the mid-'90s. Great name. Mm-hmm. Would have made some real – I don't know where Brock Preston is in his life right now. But I bet $50,000 or $60,000 back then probably would have helped over the course of a few years. Think of all those great college players that don't even get a real shot in the NFL.
Absolutely. Hey, let's make some money. We'll be right back.
At Birch Orthodontics, they know what a difference a beautiful and healthy smile can make in your life.
They take the time to get to know you and perform a thorough exam so that they can make an individualized treatment plan just for you or your child.
They use the latest technology in a warm and comfortable environment. So whether you are interested in traditional metal or clear braces or clear aligners, they can give you the smile you deserve. They know investing in your smile means investing in your future. And at Birch Orthodontics, they are honored to be a part of your smile journey.
Serving Tallahassee for 16 years and supporting the Knolls since forever. Check them out at birchorthodontics.com. BURCH orthodontics.com. Welcome back. It's Wake Up War Champ, presented by Zaxby's. I think Butch Jones, the internet says, was maybe going to leave to go to Maryland, but the date line is December 2018, and then there's date lines of January 2019 that he will remain at Alabama for the 2019 season.
Oh, all right. Well, that's big news for Alabama.
He's still there. So we don't know exactly what time kickoff will be against Clemson on October 12th, Saturday, in Clemson, South Carolina, but it either will be 3:30 or 7:30. What time does Coach Clark want to play the Clemson Tigers?
So it's going to be 3:30 or 7:30?
Yes.
I mean 3:30, I guess.
Get over with.
Get it over with. Yep, get back on the road. Yeah, I don't think – I mean, you were hoping for like a 10 a.m. kick maybe. That would have been a good shot.
Line up with your circadian rhythms.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, because that's when you're used to – you're really got a full lather going at 10 a.m. Yeah, so I would say it doesn't really matter. Clemson at night's pretty cool, though.
What matters, Corey? Nothing matters. You just said doesn't matter. What matters?
I mean, love matters, I guess. Love. Being kind, that's always nice. That matters. That matters to people. Hey, you know what? If you're listening to this today, and there's thousands of you, literally, it's crazy. Tens of thousands of you that listen to this. Do kind of pay it forward a little bit. I'm doing something for you guys by essentially doing this for free. I don't have to do this. I could be in my bed right now, but I'm here.
Solo. Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine Aslan just doing it by himself. Are you kidding me? All the grief I've saved you guys. So in honor of me doing something for you, go do something nice for someone, even if it means saying to someone that you don't really talk to, hey, you look nice today. You look nice, even if it's a lie. It doesn't have to be a come on. We're not trying to seduce people on this show.
I don't know if that's in this climate, if that's the right way to maybe go about doing things.
Maybe not say you look nice.
Yeah.
Tell a woman to smile more.
There you go.
I love that, right? Why aren't you smiling? No, don't do that. But just do something nice for someone. Buy them lunch. Tell them about this podcast. There's a lot of things you can do for people, but try to be kind and try to be nice. We need more of that in this world.
Tell me you appreciate their effort recently. I appreciate the effort you've been putting forth recently. Thanks.
I appreciate your whole thing. And they're like, what do you mean? Just, hey, your whole thing, your vibe. I like it. I like where you're at. There we go. And be as vague as possible.
Can we maintain the optimism we had in our 50-minute show on Monday for the next 10 days?
No, that'll cool off for sure. Luckily, we'll have a couple days off, too, so that'll help.
We'll probably take tomorrow off, but we'll be back Renegade Express
and
later
then
on
take
the week.
Friday off, I think. I think we could take Friday off, too.
Okay,
that might be an executive decision.
Okay. We are going to have a guest on the program later this week, Cam Milor, from Pro Football
PFF?
Focus. Yeah,
I know his brother. Used to work in FSU Sports Information.
Yeah. So he'll be on to talk about, I guess, maybe the methodology, things of that nature,
that's
the
interesting.
grading and things. So stay tuned for that, as the kids would say. But yeah, I had to. I try not to read too many of the comments. It's good for the personal health, the well-being, to not read the comments and stuff. Some people think that we're eating crow now after our show on Monday because we were optimistic about the team, or we were complimentary of the progress.
Well, but I mean, does everything have to be black and white? Life is
man, we're pod, bro.
But
That's what happens.
life is gray. The team that played against Louisiana Monroe did not deserve to be praised, and they had no benefit of the doubt built up to think they were going to turn it around. They looked awful, lost, lethargic, and won because of a missed extra point. There was nothing to celebrate, not at all. So I think that next week reflected that. Then the Virginia game, you saw some better things, but you still saw the zone in the fourth quarter was maddening. Yeah. Well, that seems to be corrected.
Disorganization in the last play of the game.
All that. Those were legitimate things to gripe about. These last 2 weeks, you can't watch what's happened, and I don't understand the people that would be like, it's the Willie. I still don't care. They're 3-2. They blew the Boise State game. They were terrible against Louisiana Monroe. All right, man, we know that. But that is now in the past. Like, they don't look like they did.
Right.
So let's judge them what they look like. And when they lose to Clemson, depending on how it looks, we might go back to saying, well, that felt like a step back. Nobody in our Midtown studios expects them to beat Clemson. We want them to be competitive, and also you still want to keep seeing strides being made, because there's a whole half a season left after Clemson. And so I think that's, I think it was after the Boise game about it's so hard not to be reactionary from week to week.
Yeah.
And go, he's terrible.
Right.
Oh, he's got it turned around. Oh, he's terrible again.
Right.
I did that a lot a few years ago. Malik Beasley's year here with Leonard. It just felt like, golly, I can't keep changing how I feel based on one game. It's hard to do it. I know nobody's crying for a columnist job because it's really awesome and it's not really work at all. But it is that one aspect of trying to figure out what one game means. And sometimes one game is just one game. Or sometimes teams get better over the course of a season. We had not seen that in a while around here, a team actually getting better. And I didn't assume it was going to happen. So I wrote accordingly, and we talked about it accordingly. Well, now it's changed, right? Things change.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think that means we're eating. I mean, if we're eating crow, we're eating crow. But they're also 3-2 with 7 games left. We don't know how this season's going to end. If they end up 9-3, yeah, well, I'll say we can eat crow there because I'm
not eating crow until they win a national championship.
Well, that's you. But I thought, and I'm sure I said it, that I thought they were going to go 3-9 after the Louisiana Monroe game. I thought that was maybe best case scenario.
At least it was on the table.
Yeah,
you weren't like
maybe I wasn't saying that definitively, but best case scenario, I was like, man, 4-8 maybe. If they look like that, and if they have not bought into this guy at all after 14 games, and this defensive coaching staff produces that week in and week out, they should lose to everyone. But you know what? These guys get paid a lot of money. They earned it the last 3 weeks. They look like a different team. The offense looks like the offense. It's kind of been consistent throughout. Mm-hmm. Highs and lows, gross at times, awesome at times. The defense has just been a revelation for 3 weeks. It might fall back off the rails again. Kids might get hurt. They don't have a lot of depth up front. But the current incarnation of the 2019 Florida State defense, I think you could actually say is a solid to good defense. Probably closer to solid than good, but I think...
Which is better in that comparison?
Solid.
We need to also kind of be a little bit mindful of the fact that they haven't exactly performed against... I don't know, maybe they did perform well against Virginia, which, a crazy twist of fate, is actually one of the best teams in this conference this year.
Yeah.
However,
Florida State played toe-to-toe with that team and probably should have won that game. Virginia's a good team. They're an 8-9 win team. There aren't great teams out there. You know what I mean? Like, I think, not to throw my man Jeff Cameron under the bus, because we do a show together, pretty popular one as well.
Hour number 2.
But I heard him on his show on Tuesday talking about Virginia he doesn't think Virginia's that good.
I don't.
It's like, well, yeah, but who is good?
Right.
Is Notre Dame good? Because Virginia played toe-to-toe with Notre Dame, and if they don't get 2 strip sack fumbles, they might win that game on the road. Yeah. And then Notre Dame almost beat Georgia, and Georgia's considered elite. So who is good? You know, it's week to week, man. If you win 8 or 9 games, you're a good team. Boise's a good team. They're going to win 10 games. Virginia might win 8 or 9 games. They're a good team. They played toe-to-toe with both these teams. Probably should have won both those games, especially the Boise game. I feel like that's, good. They're Florida State, but not because of the defense. Getting back to the original point, I do think Florida State's defense is a good defense. And I think Virginia's a good team. Not a great team, but I don't believe in great teams in college football until the playoffs. That's when the greatness gets. Is Clemson a great team this year?
I don't know. We should probably have Larry Williams from Tiger Illustrated come on here and talk to us about that next week.
We'll do that.
I'm curious to see if they. Yeah, I don't.
I think there's some hand wringing up there, like legitimate hand wringing about how they've looked. The offense, they scored whatever they scored against A&M. Was it 24, 31?
More than that.
They didn't look great against A&M.
I thought they did. Did they not?
I don't think the offense did. I don't think the offense was like humming.
A&M.
No, offensively. I don't. They
won their first game 52-14 over Georgia Tech, which is a terrible team. Well, it was only 24-10 they beat A&M. I didn't realize that. Walloped Clemson 41-6.
No, walloped who? They are Clemson.
Some Syracuse. I'm sorry. All that orange makes me want to vomit. Covered against Charlotte 52-10 and eked out a 1-point win on the road against North Carolina.
So that's 2 games this year where they've scored 24 or less.
Yeah. With maybe the best quarterback, whatever.
Well, definitely I would think, other than Alabama, the best quarterback-receiver combos in the country.
Yeah.
But they're struggling a little bit, man. They're struggling a little bit offensively for them. So there's some hand-wringing going on up there. I don't know necessarily that their close loss was good for Florida State. I think sometimes that a close loss like that can really galvanize and turn seasons around. And maybe that was the actual slap-in-the-face wake-up call. Guys, you were 1 play away from losing to Mack Brown.
Sam Howell.
Yeah, the great Sam Howell, Walt Bell's protege. Walt Bell's protege almost beat you guys. So I think that could have been a real wake-up call, and I'm sure Dabo's using it that way. And the name is still Florida State, and they know they can make a real statement after dropping in the polls. It's not a great time for Florida State to be rolling in there. But you got to play them sometime. Yeah. You know what I mean?
To that note, shouldn't the ACC, and I'm not trying to have like SEC envy here, but shouldn't some of these games have a certain place on the calendar? Like Alabama, Tennessee is always the 3rd Saturday in October or whatever.
Right. Georgia, Florida is always the Halloween weekend.
Yeah, like shouldn't Clemson, Florida State always be 2nd week in October or 1st weekend in November? And, Florida State, Miami should always be a certain game. I mean, we're playing Miami in November this year. What's going on here? I mean, I know in the 90s, was it 91? They go Miami, Florida, end the season?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's...
That was a bit of a bear.
How about we make some sort of... Let's make some tradition here, kind of. I don't know. Let's put these games on the calendar so you always kind of know, when they're coming up, what to expect.
I see. Florida State, Louisville is always in September.
Yeah.
Either they're here when it's hot or we're up there and we can watch the horses run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got Louisville in September always. You got Clemson in October. Or you got Miami in October always. And then you got Clemson first week in November.
Let's do it that way.
I'm with that. I'm down with that.
I think it'd be better that way. Help people planning things out at home as well. Yeah, I mean, I am curious to see how they play against. I think they're actually going to. I think they're going to play really well against Clemson. I understand what you're talking about. They're going to be chip on the shoulder. You're getting them when they're angry, kind of thing, or whatever. I think they'll actually play them quite well. I don't think they're going to win.
If you just make it a game in the second half. I mean, I know that's awful. I always have to qualify it, but it's awful to hear a host of a show like this talk about his own team that he covers, just wanting to make it respectable. But
no, it's because you're talking about Florida State. If you were a host talking about Toledo football, it's not a big deal. But you're talking about this program.
Yeah, and it's not great. But that's where it is, man.
People want to rub your nose in the fact, you were wrong. You were wrong about Taggart.
Well, no. I mean, I don't know if I never made a declaration on him one way or the other.
It's the ridiculous nature of.
But it's also 2 wins. It's 2 wins over the 2 worst ACC teams that are on your schedule. I'm excited about how they've looked, not necessarily who they've beaten. Just how they've looked at doing it. You can't dismiss 31-13 wins around here. They haven't come along much, really since Dalvin left.
Yeah, my guy wasn't doing that.
Well, he not since Dalvin left. Dalvin, he had a couple.
Last one, they blew out BC in 16 at home. That's like the last ACC game I remember them just waxing somebody.
Yeah, I think
on
they might have done
night?
a Friday night. Yeah, it was a weird just setting, just a Friday night game in Doak. I think that was the game where the guy came, the soldier came and surprised his family on the field. In the game, and Dalvin came, I think, like 7 yards short of breaking the all-time rushing record at Florida State, so he did it the next week at Syracuse.
Okay.
Which was a bummer that he couldn't do it in front of his home
Right.
folks. But the game was so boring because it was such a blowout that all I wrote about was the guy meeting his family on the field. Which they're cool stories anyway.
Yeah,
Those things are awesome when the kids are surprised.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll go down wormholes on YouTube watching those things, and I don't tear up about. Well, I can't cry tears for some reason. But I'm not a real emotional guy. I don't tear up too often. But those things, man, they always get me. They always get me. The soldiers returning home, and just to the kids reactions to it, man, it's something.
Does your face react? Like, do you?
Yeah, you can see that I'm upset. You can see that I'm doing all the things that a face would do when it cries.
Do your eyes redden?
My eyes redden and water. Just nothing escapes. It's weird, right? That might be what always gets caught in my throat is all the backed up tears from being an Atlanta sports fan for 44 years. By the way, Braves start their postseason run this week. Yep,
Let's go.
It'll be short-lived, I'm sure, but it was fun. It was a good season. It was a fun season. And it is kind of refreshing to go, like last year, they have no chance of winning it because they're just not as good enough to beat the Dodgers or the Yankees, the Astros. They just can't. They're not equipped. So you're not going to get your heart broken because you'd like them to win a series because they haven't won a postseason series since 2001, which is nuts. That's nuts. The Braves are a good franchise,
Got to give
man.
yourself opportunities, I think, as you once said. Just
2001?
get there. Opportunities, get there.
I remember being at the Diamond. They lost the Diamondbacks in the NLCS, and I remember being there in Game 5. The Diamondbacks had a 3-1 lead, and me and my buddy were watching their I can't remember. It was probably Schilling warm up before the game, and we were over the bullpen, and we were yelling something to him, like, "Hey, sign a ball" or something. I don't remember what it was for a nephew, and they wouldn't. They just kept ignoring us. And so I yelled at him, I hope you get your ass kicked by the Yankees, which isn't what the Braves fan's supposed to say because we're still in the series. So that made a couple of them laugh when they heard that I had already given up on the series. But yeah, we got postseason baseball. It would be cool, man, just to get it back to college football.
Well, you can keep it on baseball. We can talk about meat.
No, but just that, like, I was thinking about it when I was driving over here about what if they are in a game in the third or fourth quarter. And they lose because Clemson's just more talented. But they hang with them. And the score is whatever it would be, 37-28. But they're in the game. They make Clemson work. And all of a sudden, not just Florida State fans, but I think Clemson fans, number one, and people around the country would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We might have given up on this guy a little too early. That's a different looking team than what we saw. Because they were, I mean, I said it, and I stand by it. They were a laughing stock, man. They were a punchline those first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
they were. The extra point miss, the celebration, the way the kid
water.
the water thing, the just blowing a lead to Boise like they blew a lead, McKitty lining up the wrong way. Just there were all these things that rival fans could make fun of and point at and laugh and say, what is going on at Florida State? And even frankly, the end of the game against Virginia just looked completely discombobulated. But these last 2 weeks, man, and if you can go up there and play tight, all of a sudden they're not going to be laughing as much anymore. They might be kind of going, well, is he? What? We don't need this. This isn't what we need. Is Florida State playing with confidence and looking and starting to look real appealing to recruits around the country? So I think it's a big game in that sense. Just acquaint yourself well, man. Just go up there and play hard and play well.
Get a shot in the arm in terms of national relevancy again.
Yeah.
It's sorely been missing.
And Andy Staples, I saw a tweet Saturday night. He tweeted that Florida State looked a lot better. And somebody tweeted at him, like, well, yeah, it helps when you're playing NC State. And he goes, look, man, I watched them play against Louisiana Monroe, and it was this team's better than Louisiana Monroe. They look a lot different. Yeah. And it is. It's just the eye of the beholder, man. Well, not the eye of the beholder. That doesn't make sense. It's you can see with your eyes. It's the eye test, as I like to say.
Yeah.
They look better on the field. They are a better team now. And it would be cool in a game that people will actually be watching for them to showcase, okay, we have taken these many steps. We're not going to lose by 49. We're going to lose by 14. That's a step. Not a great one, but it's a step. Or they might lose by 50, and we'll just be all dejected again.
Or they'll play them really tight, but then they'll do something weird game management-wise to –
They'll punt on third down.
and then everyone's going to be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That this is why it's going to be so difficult to do a show like this, talking about this one specific thing, which is this program, every single day.
Yeah, it's like a referendum, and you can't have referendums after every game.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And there's going to be different sort of level. Like, they're still in elementary school right now, right? Like, maybe they'll make it to middle school this year. Because eventually you're going to be in these games with Clemson. You're going to be in a game with Miami. It's going to mean something. It means something every time you play Miami and Florida. But there's going to be implications of you need to beat Miami in 2020 next year down in Coral Gables to keep yourself alive in the ACC title hunt. And it's a one-possession game. And it's 2 minutes left. And you only have one timeout. Like, how will this coaching staff –
And Akers is playing for the Jaguars, so you can't go to him.
Right. So, like, how will they – so these are all these sort of different – so everyone's like in this rush to say they're right on things. Like, man, there is so much more road to plow when you're talking about this school and this program and its standard and what the goal ultimately here is. I mean, I was doing research. I was talking to my buddy in Texas just about Kendall Browse, like, like potential landing spots for him if he wanted to be a head coach. Because he was telling me about how Texas State, like, it was him and Jake Spavital were the two guys that they interviewed for the head coaching job at Texas State, and they picked Spavital. Now, I don't know if Browse took his name out of the running.
Right.
My buddy doesn't know either, but Browse, I mean, you can even Google it, like, was a candidate to coach at Texas State. And I'm like, so I'm starting all these. I'm like, how did Applewhite get let go after? I started going this whole wormhole, like, how did Major Applewhite get let go after 2 seasons? That's crazy. Like, Houston's president.
What was the deal there?
He didn't do well. He didn't do well enough.
I thought they won like 9 or 10. Did they
No,
not?
they went. I think they went 7-5 and then 8-5.
Okay. I know they were in that bowl game and just got trounced, but I thought they'd already been fired by then. He'd already been fired by then.
Well, guys started making business decisions,
sitting
games out, things like that. So they had a very limited roster.
But you're also Houston.
But they literally their number one, like, sugar daddy booster had this, like, there's this great quote.
Is it Olajuwon?
No, it's Tillman Fertitta.
I said all along, we're not going to have a contract in place for our new coach where it's going to be easy for him to jump in 2 years, okay? If he wants to jump, somebody better really want him bad, okay? Because I think you can look forward to Major being here for many years, okay? But he better win 9, 10, 11 games a year, too, from our standpoint. Okay, we did get rid of a coach that won 8 games 3 years ago. Don't ever forget that. We expect to win at the University of Houston.
That was saying you can look forward to Major being here for many years when they signed him in 16. He's like, but he better win 9, 10, 11 games to do his part, because we've done our part by stepping up and signing him to a big contract. The president literally at this big, high, heavy-hitting booster meeting, board of trustees sort of function at her home, the president of the university bragged about, we fire people here if they win only 8 games here. This was before they fired Applewhite, talking about Tony Levine, who they got rid of like a decade prior. And I mean, I was looking at all that, I'm like, it's just crazy. And that's, people are on this sort of rush that, like, 8 wins, great, awesome. And then there's going to, some people, Florida State, are going to be like, 8 wins, what the hell? And it's just like, no one is right yet. No one's wrong yet either, but, the war wages on. Everybody be careful. It's like a marathon. Like, I know everyone's like in a rush to start celebrating over very, small steps in what's ultimately going to be a rebuild.
Yeah, there's no reason right now to start beating your chest either way.
Yeah.
There's just not. And it's weird on the other side that you'd beat your chest because you were right about a guy not being a good coach for the football team you love, and being excited that you get to beat your chest and say, I told you so. That's weird. I feel like everybody should be rooting for him to succeed. Certainly the administration is rooting for him hard to succeed. And we'll see if it happens. But, yeah, I would say through what were we at, 17 games now in his career? These last 2, really the last 3, have been probably the 3 most impressive games they played in those 17.
Absolutely.
That's something.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. We're not dancing in the aisles and square dancing and anything. Do you ever square dance? Did you ever have to do that in gym class?
Oh, yeah. Elementary school.
Do they still do that? I don't remember if Brady ever told me about square dancing.
I've
What's the point of that? Do-si-do and grab your partner?
Socializing. So when you go to, country western bar when you're 22, you kind of know what to do.
So you did it in Tampa?
Yeah.
Y'all did square dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been at a party in your life when people were square dancing?
No, but everyone dances at weddings. They do the dun.
But do they square dance?
No, but like it
Why don't you
translates.
teach them real
it
dancing?
translates. No one does algebra, but algebra translates to putting in a new bookshelf in your.
But we're
room.
like one of the fattest countries in the world, and we're wasting time doing square dancing.
Brother, they don't even make kids do PE every day
I know.
anymore.
Brady does it twice a week.
That
and
makes me sick.
He only does it twice. Well, he's in the 6th grade now, so
I
it's
don't
different.
care, man.
But he only does it twice a week because that's one of his electives. He got lucky.
Yeah.
There was a chance he didn't get it at all. But I hope they're not wasting time with square dancing.
These kids
But my point was, people somewhere have to be square dancing. Somewhere, right? I mean, why not teach you how to hip-hop dance? That seems more applicable to you later in life.
True talent to do that. Like you need
Square dance is just following a pattern or line dancing.
It's rote. It's like paint by numbers.
But I for my whole life, I've been to probably 15 weddings where they do the
down, do your down.
No,
to
it's
left,
the
to left, to left, to the right. No, not did.
it's the oh man, I can't get it in my head now. It's the
one time, two steps,
one time, bump, bump.
one time.
I can't do it, and I can't do that's not the electric slide, is it?
No. Everybody, clap your hands.
I can do that part, but the other part, I'm always looking around, and I'm always stepping in the wrong direction and stepping on a girl when I'm trying to do it. And I'm only out there when I've had a few. Obviously, I would never go out there for that song if I was stone cold sober. But yeah, maybe they should have taught that instead of square dancing, and I'd be better at weddings. Yeah. Nobody ever asked me to square dance at weddings.
Yeah. I think my ex-girlfriend broke up with me at the wedding when she just saw me just not be able to dance to that at all. Like, she was stoked for that. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm going to pass on this one. Couldn't do it.
For what? That
dance, yeah.
Left arm ponton.
Yeah.
Right foot ponton.
Cha-cha.
Cha-cha. Yeah, that cha-cha. It's such a great song. Good times.
And, yeah, last thing is the thing that makes me also mad about looking at this Houston thing, going back to doing circles as we part ways. Man, he was signed like $2.5 million, I think, a year.
So he was only there for 2 years?
And he had 3 years left on his deal. Do the math. 3 and 2.5.
7.5.
They only paid him like 1.5.
Where'd he go?
No, he's an analyst in Alabama.
Oh, of course. That's where they all go.
But how did they, like...
There might have been something behind the scenes. It seems so. He only was there for 2 years.
2 years. He coached the bowl game because Tom Herman left to get ready for and then he had 2 full seasons.
So he was 2 full seasons. They weren't disasters.
No, 7-5, 8-5. But they lost all 3 bowl games.
And he only collected 1.5 of a 7.5 buyout.
Correct.
But doesn't that tell you that maybe there was something that he didn't want to come to light, and maybe they said, "Hey, take this buyout. We're not giving you the full freight. You're fired."
I think Houston has better people.
Why would anybody not take what they're owed?
I don't think his contract was to the fact that he was going to get all.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
so
I thought you were saying he was owed 7.5.
For example, Willie's not entitled to 100% of what's remaining on his contract. It's 80%.
Right.
I think Houston had something that probably was much lower threshold.
20% apparently.
So.
Still odd they fired him after 2 years.
Still wonder who's going to be the AD. Really do wonder who the
also,
AD is.
Not to open up a whole new conversation, but there's no guarantee that Kendall Briles will be a great head coach.
There's a guarantee that he wants to be a head coach.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
People got upset at me on the trouble. How come you keep talking about Kendall leaving? What do you know? It's like, man, I have a brain. You have a brain too.
Of course he's not. He don't want to be. Who wants to? Can you name an offensive coordinator that's just been an offensive coordinator for like 30 years?
Oh, Tom Moore.
Who's that?
In the NFL, he was the guy that pretty much
Colts?
Yeah.
The Colts guy?
Yeah.
But I would make college.
No, I'm with a guy of his
maybe Norm Chow. Norm Chow seems like he was an offensive coordinator for a long while, but then he became a head coach.
Hawaii.
But all these guys, especially on the offensive side, they all want to be head coaches.
He interviewed for a head coaching job in San Marcos, Texas, people.
Briles, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to be a head coach, man.
That's crazy that he would take Texas State like that. I mean, I guess at the time you take what you can get because of the last name, honestly. Yeah. But now one more year here, get Tamarian and Cam to come back. Then you're feeling good about things, and you can still redshirt Hornibrook. You
could,
yeah. Say, hey, let's do it again, and we'll talk about this obviously for the next week and a half. I think Blackman starts against Clemson.
I do too.
And I think he gives you your best chance against Clemson. I think he can make every throw on the field. Clemson knows that Hornibrook can't. So they can do what NC State did and just have everybody up front and up at the line, knowing that if he's on one side of the field, he can't make that throw to the other side of the field. He just can't, won't get there fast enough against Clemson DBs. So I think Blackman gives you probably a better shot against Clemson because they do have to stay home a little more because his arm is so big. Yeah. But against someone like Wake Forest, where maybe their DBs are afraid to get beat deep, so they're going to scoop back and they're going to play a soft zone. Maybe Hornibrook gives you a better chance against them. I really do think it could be. I think it could be a game-to-game thing and a schematic thing, depending on who you're playing. If you can't block Clemson, you got to have a guy that can, hurt them with downfield throws. If they're going to bring pressure, which they do, I think they blitz like 41% of the time. If they're going to bring pressure, you got to have a guy that can beat them. And part of the way to beat them, obviously, is to get rid of the ball quick and make a right throw and hit a guy in stride. Another part is to heave it downfield to your guy one-on-one.
Has Blackman gotten sacked a lot? No,
but when he takes his sacks, it's usually after a pump fake, and he gets drilled. Like, he wears it hard. Like, he looks, and then just wears it. The one he got hurt on, that he got sacked. He got sacked where he was just standing there like a statue for the kid and had a running start, like a 10-yard start, and just bombed him.
He still looked a bit ginger out there to me.
Yeah, he got a week and a half, though, right? Yeah.
Jawan looked a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't look a full speed either, but
they got time.
They got time, and then
they heal differently around here.
They do. And shout out real quick to Dante Lucas, who I think is their I think it was the 4th highest rated offensive player in the game last week.
You said that on the show yesterday.
And I think he's got to be the highest rated lineman on the team.
I can't do the stats that quickly. Oh, quick correction too. Remember, we were talking about how great this team is.
I'm going to give Dante a shout out every day, and don't correct me.
Do that
again. That was embarrassing.
Remember how we talked about how great this team was on the Monday show and just how much growth they're doing, which is true. And I was like, there's everything about this team is so much better than 18, which is a good thing. There's nothing I want from 18. There's nothing I want. Sorry, Brian Burns, forgot about you.
Well, he would help.
Yeah.
He would help.
Sorry about that, Brian. Love you, man.
Yeah, no, he would help. He'd probably be a difference maker this year. I think they'd be. Would they be 4-1 if they had Brian Burns? You think he makes enough of a difference against Virginia?
Yeah, someone may throw on the run into that zone with a bunch of hungry guys back there, just chomping at the bit to make a jump and make a.
I feel like maybe Boise, he can make a play. He can make a couple plays, put them behind the sticks a couple of times, maybe. Yeah. Probably would have made a difference. I'm going to say they're 4-1. And, Brian, that's something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life, man.
Selfish.
Incredibly selfish. I know the check's nice. That's fine. But if you could have stayed here till 2023, you could have repped Gordo's or something or one of the local Tallahassee establishments, and you could have made a lot of money that way.
Could have probably gone to the Sun Bowl in El Paso.
But, but hey, have fun playing in the NFL, man. That's great.
Keep pounding, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with Renegade Express. Leave your questions over on the Tribal Council. Talk to you then. Have a great one, everybody.
Unlike fanny packs, bowl cuts, and troll dolls, the sensation is back, only at Zaxby's. The Sensation Salad and the new Sensation Filet Sandwich features hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, and both are served with an egg roll. The Sensation Salad and the new Sensation Filet Sandwich meal for a limited time, only at Zaxby's. And skip the line when you order ahead on the Zaxby's app or on Zaxby's.com.